the Fanatic Brackets Season 3, Episode 4. I am Nick, your host. With me, as always, is my co-host, Joel.
Yo.
Today, to help us break down this bracket, we are joined none other than content creator, Elle Matkins. How are you? How's everything?
I'm good. How are y'all?
You're doing good. Can't
Doing good,
complain. We
man.
were just talking. It was WrestleMania week. Well, at the point of this release, it's after Mania, but it was WrestleMania week. So far, it's happy. Can't wait to
Yeah.
do this bracket. So we are breaking down the bracket today as the topic you brought in for us, which is the greatest Money in the Bank cash-ins, a list of great cash-ins throughout the years of Money in the Bank. Was there a reason why you what's the reason for this topic, by the way? Because this is pretty interesting. So far, I'm surprised you
So,
haven't done it yet.
Yeah.
Yeah,
this is my favorite PLE.
yeah.
Truly, I've always liked it. It's the first I watched Seth Rollins. It was the first match I watched that I got me into the WWE.
Oh,
Um,
nice.
and it's just I don't know. It's followed. Like I've just always go back to like when I'm bored, I'll go watch a match. I'll go watch a Money in the Bank cash in.
Wow.
Like I've rewatched, Damian Priest, uh, Drew McIntyre's, little quick one. Like it's
Yeah,
one of my favorite ones. And then I realized it hadn't been done yet on y'all's channel, so I was like, you know what? Let's come up with a good bracket. So yeah, it's just my favorite.
yeah. I mean, there's a lot of great cash-ins.
Yeah.
Um, Always my favorite time of the year because you don't know when it's gonna happen. I love the
Exactly. It's like it
yeah.
always keeps you on the edge of your seat, and I think that's the best part. So
Exactly, exactly.
Definitely.
But let's before we even get into the bracket, let me explain the rules for those who have not watched an episode before. So the gist of the show is we're going to go matchup by matchup on this bracket. We're each going to give our opinion on which cash in we thought was better. Whichever participant gets 2 or 3 votes, obviously between the three of us, we'll move on to the next round, all the way to the finals. Obviously, we want to give our reasonings on who and why we chose that specific participant or cash in. It's an opinion based show. There's no specific way to look at it other than cash in was it the right winner. And any way we look at it doesn't matter. It's up to us and us only. But without being out of the way, we can get right into it. Elle, we're going to start off with you because you're our guest.
Ooh.
Between this first matchup, which one would you find better, Liv Morgan's from 2022 or Bailey's from 2019? What was your favorite cash in?
oh, this is kind of it's funny because I'm not a huge fan of her, but I'm gonna have
Oh,
to go Liv Morgan.
ooh, okay.
So I just think that she just she cashed in on Ronda Rousey, and I truly just I think it was a time when it was the middle of her growing as a superstar, and her I think it was her time, and really became, oh, that's Liv Morgan. I feel like people really realized, oh, she's something when she cashed in and she became the champion. So I have to go with her.
That's a good pick. That's a good reason. I didn't even think of that. That is true though, because that was really when she broke out as a single star. That is
Yeah.
a good point though. That is a good point though. Joel, who do you have, Liv Morgan or Bailey's Cashin?
Bailey's was dope, but you gotta go with Liv. Liv's I also feel was more out of nowhere, especially that when she won the Money in the Bank, not a lot of people had her winning, or if they did have her winning, it was like, oh, she'll fail the cash in, because she was still, as Elle said, in the growing phase. But when she went out and did it on Ronda, I believe the same night, that
Yeah,
was a big moment. That was a big moment, and it kind of shifted the whole women's division to now,
Exactly.
like Elle said, that's Liv Morgan. She's here.
Hmm.
ooh. I feel like every time we do a bracket, just side note, I'm always the odd one out every single
Okay.
matchup because I'm gonna
You're
choose.
happy that one.
Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna choose Bailey because I feel like Bailey. I know both of them. Bailey also cashed in the same night. She cashed in right after Charlotte beat Becky. When Becky pulled a double duty on that one night at Money in the Bank. Even though these cash-ins weren't the best, obviously they didn't have a build-up like some of them have in the past. Um, I just feel like her losing the title. It was she held it for a couple months and then she lost it back to Charlotte. And then the night after that same week is when she had that character change from babyface Bailey to heel Bailey.
That
So
is true. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think that transition really brought out the best in Bailey. Without the title, without that cash, we wouldn't have seen heel Bailey. Wouldn't have seen what Bailey would have done today. Bailey's accomplished a lot before then, but that was really just the start of Bailey's career. I believe she got called up like around that time, right? That was her recent call up. Joel, you might know that better
I
than I do,
believe so.
because she was like still relatively new on the main roster scene.
Because I feel that was the time. Damn, I'm trying to think. Cause she did do that little stint, but I think that was during COVID that she went back down to NXT and then came back up, right?
Bailey?
Yeah,
That was when she had the tag titles, I believe,
yeah.
with
So that
Sasha.
was during COVID. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, so yeah, she was. Yeah, you're right. She was barely new when she won that. I had to like
yeah,
wrap around. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
yeah. And I mean, like Liv's, I enjoy Liv's run, and I agree with what both of you said. This was like the start of Liv Morgan, but I didn't really find her work after that with Ronda really that fascinating. Like it wasn't that good. Not on Liv's fault. It was not Liv's fault. I don't blame her for that.
No, that's fair.
Yeah, it's just I don't think the cash in led to anything great like
got
Bailey's
you.
did. Um, so that's why I had to choose Bailey for this one. But either way, Liv Morgan moved on to the next round. You want to say something, Joel?
No, I was gonna say this is why I love the brackets because I love that you're going because we're going based on two different things, and I love that.
Yeah.
You're going based on what happened after. I'm going based off of like the moment. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
whoa, like so. But that's what I love about the bracket series. Is like
Yeah. I
you
mean, I
see it
really,
how you see
yeah,
it.
exactly. And that's why we all ask, we all take turns to see why we chose so
Yeah,
and so person.
there's gotta be a contrast.
Exactly.
Definitely.
Exactly. And plus, that one was hard because you had two cash-ins on the same night.
Same night. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you couldn't really base it off. You had like what, less than 2 hours to cash in, and then that's it.
Yeah.
So there wasn't really much to base off of than what happened afterwards. But yeah, regardless, Liv Morgan made it after that anyways to the next round. This is an interesting one. We do have next matchup Brock Lesnar from 2019 versus Dean Ambrose from 2016 cash in. Joel, we're going to start off with you with this one. Who do you have going to the next round? And who do you know is better in your opinion?
Dean Ambrose, 1,000%.
Okay.
On
Why
the
is that?
Shield, on the Shield members.
Yeah.
That was the same night they all held the title.
Yeah.
That's a crazy moment, a crazy night. Did anything come out of it? I don't know, Nick. I can't tell you that, but it was an awesome moment, and I was in my living room and I popped when it happened. But I definitely got that over the Brock Lesnar one. I feel like the Brock Lesnar, even the whole build up with him having the Money in the Bank, it was entertaining, but I really didn't take it seriously. And I was like,
Yeah.
okay, he got the Money in the Bank. I just feel like Ambrose with that moment that really solidified him and made everybody look at Ambrose on the same level as Rollins and Roman.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. Elle, do you agree with him? Do you have Ambrose or are you going with Brock?
I'm going Ambrose. I majorly agree. I'm a Shield girl, so
See, there we go.
yeah,
It started up on Rollins, so it makes sense to go
you
into
know, so
Yeah.
it's an easy one for me. So definitely, I think I was a big moment. But yeah, I have to go.
This was your intro to wrestling. Well, that you're still really new to wrestling at that time, right? Because you started.
Around that area.
Yeah. So
damn, you started at a good time.
You started after the Shield breakup, so you weren't around with the Shield yet.
Yeah, I wasn't, and it sucks because I'm like, damn, I cannot believe. Like, I wish somebody would have been like, you need to watch WWE. Like,
Yeah.
I wish somebody would have just pushed it in my face.
Trust me, I was on the same page for a while too. I found out through the video games. That's how I found out. Yeah.
My fiance is like a huge fan, and he was like, "You're gonna watch it. Like, I'm gonna show you." And I think it was Seth Rollins cash in or something, and he was like, "This is cinema. Like, you have got to keep watching this." So yeah.
Damn! Shout out the fiance putting.
Shout out.
What a guy.
Exactly.
Yeah, he's been watching it since he was a child, so he knows all things. So yeah.
Okay, so you've been learning.
Oh yeah, he tests every now and then. So
shout out to him.
Yeah, for real.
But yeah, I think I'm going to agree with both of you here. I'm also going to go with Dean Ambrose. From what I remember, this is one time where this was the story leading into the draft, the brand split again.
Yes.
So the whole story after that, which was one of my favorites, was when they had to like get the title back. Rollins and Roman were drafted to Raw.
Yeah, where was the belt gonna land?
Yeah, like is it gonna go to SmackDown or gonna go to Raw? And then I think that story was pretty cool because it's like, damn, there was only one world title at that time, not two, where you could split it up and you can really like split the titles. This one was like, again, you're fighting for one, and if you lose, you don't take it, and it's your fault. So I found that whole story just really really cool. Plus, I the fact that Brock wasn't even in his ladder match, it just came out and won it. That really, I think I might have shut off I think it was the network. I shut it off immediately once his music hit. I was like, no way he's doing this. No way. Mustafa Ali had it right in his hands. And then the Brock Lesnar music hits, and I'm like, oh, come on. The only time I must have like hated hearing Brock's music was that. Literally every other time I hear Brock's music, I pop, except for that one.
It's a great moment. Yeah, that moment was like, oh no.
Yeah. Why now? Why this moment? I don't know. I just think that moment was very, lackluster, and just like, there's no way I would ever choose that. Plus, again, Dean Ambrose had a big story afterwards to him just being, I think that was his first world title win too, if I'm not mistaken. So that was his first one to really, again, what a special moment with the Shield all in the one night. They all held it on the same night, which is cool to say. So shout out to Ambrose.
And they kind of like trusted him with SmackDown. They were like, yo, you taking the belt and you're going to be the champion. Good luck. So it showed that they believed in him and somewhat believed in him.
And then they gave him the fake title on the Universal on Raw.
Oh, that was the dark time of that area, the Universal title.
There's a reason why SmackDown was so much better. Was because
I still have dreams of when Mick Foley took that the little velvet thing off the belt. I was like, oh, it looks like a fruit roll up. That's tough.
And then they changed it to blue. I was like, oh, please stop with this belt already. But yeah, Dean Ambrose does move on to the next round. Oh, my bad. But next matchup, we do have Edge, his first cash in from 2005. Well, technically 06. He cashed in, I think it was the first month of 06. Versus Damian Priest, his cash in from last year when he cashed in on McIntyre, as we were discussing just in the beginning of the show. I'm going to start this one off. I always feel like the first of everything is the special moments in WWE history, especially with Edge being the first Money in the Bank winner. So I'm going to choose him. The visual of Cena just being all bloody and tired, and after an Elimination Chamber match, after, and again, just Edge is coming out giving the briefcase to Vince and be like, yeah, I'm doing this now. And Vince being a part of it too. Vince was like, yeah, he's cashing in now. Let's do this. The hatred for Cena at that time. Was that in the feud with Edge? That was not directly after, right? That was like later on in the year.
What do you mean? Which
like
feud?
Cena versus Edge, right?
Oh, no, it was right after.
Really? That was after Mania.
No, they went at it throughout the year. They had little spurts.
I thought there was like a pause, then went back into it. Okay, then I was wrong. Sorry, but I do think that the first of everything, just always means a lot to the business, and it's something that no one will forget. I love Priest's cash-in. I love that it happened on Mania in causing McIntyre that moment and having Punk help it in a way and cause that story, but. He wasn't the first to cash in on Mania, so I'm not gonna really,
That's fair.
So if it was against somebody else, maybe I would have given it to Priest. But again, there's always a special place for the first moments of everything in WWE. So I'm gonna have to give it to Edge. Elle, I'm gonna go with you. Which one do you prefer and why?
Okay, so I'm gonna go Priest. Just because I absolutely love the whole cashing in on McIntyre, and you have CM Punk out there. And also, this was like my first WrestleMania watching. So,
nice.
It was kind of like a big thing for me. And I just remember jumping up and down, being like, no way he's going to do it, because he held on to it for so long.
Yeah.
I mean, he had that, like, time was running out. And to do it at Mania, and then I also was a big fan of that Judgment Day when they have Rhea and Damian. So when he ran back up there, hugging them, I mean, it was a great moment for him, because you know, I don't know if y'all watched the documentary, but he just worked so hard to get where he is, you know, and I just think that's like such an important thing of a superstar to have such a love for the WWE. So when it happened for him and he was finally, you know, the world heavyweight, I was like, yeah. And then also the fact that Drew McIntyre got real, screwed. So it was kind of awesome. And the CM Punk too. It just was so much was happening at one time, and then you know you see CM Punk wave at Drew McIntyre's wife, and then that music hits. It was awesome. So I'm Priest.
People didn't realize it, but it added a lot to that Punk and McIntyre story.
I was at Bad Blood and I saw the whole
nice.
Drew McIntyre and CM Punk thing, and I'm a huge CM Punk fan. So
that's
it just added more to it. So yeah, Priest.
Yeah, that's a good reasoning. Good. I saw the documentary, but I was like, I didn't really refer back to it because if you watched it, it's like, oh, she did go through a lot, and it's like, damn, he really did need that big win.
Yeah.
So that's
like that moment meant something to him.
Yeah, and I think he definitely deserved it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, Joel, tiebreaker here. I'm gonna go with Edge or Damian Priest.
So I agree with both of y'all. You guys made great cases. So far on this list, this is the hardest one to me. Because I love Priest. It was a great moment. I also love Edge. It was a great moment. But I'm going to have to give the edge to Edge.
That's fair.
Fair. Yeah, it's the first one, and I remember like I didn't understand what the Money in the Bank was. I was watching this live. I was so confused. I was like, why did this guy win? How did Edge become champion?
Yeah.
And then the whole talk the next morning at school was, did you see New Year's resolution?
Oh, I'm sure.
Did you see Edge? What? And then everybody's like, but how? Because no one really understood the rules. It was just one of those core memories for me. So I got to go with Edge.
That's fair. That's totally fair.
I love the puns. You give the slight edge to Edge.
The slight edge to Edge, man.
I feel like every bracket we've done that had Edge in it, we all said at least once. For the bracket,
at least once.
Yeah. So you may hear this a lot, Elle, throughout the rest of the episode.
Fine.
Yeah, you hear a lot of corny puns, okay?
Hey, it's all good. It's all good.
Yeah. So Edge got the edge and made it to the next round of the bracket. Next matchup, we have two of the women, Tiffany Stratton against Io Sky from 2023. Elle, we're going to start with you. I think I know who you're going to choose, but go ahead and say your answer and why.
Okay. This is so obvious. I'm going to go Tiffany Stratton. That cash-in was, I'm biased because she is like my favorite of all time, but that cash-in was, I mean, just awesome. Like I was jumping up and down. I was screaming because you have just been waiting for this to happen. You've been waiting for her to turn on Nia Jax. That whole thing. It was perfect timing. And also to do it on a SmackDown, like I didn't really think that was going to happen. I truly thought we were going to wait till WrestleMania. Like I thought we were going to have to wait forever.
Yeah.
Or it truly did. It was so unexpected that it was an easy, it's an easy pick for me, obviously.
Yeah. I mean, me too. I agree with you. I'm also going to go with Tiffany Stratton because there was a point. I mean, I'm on the same page where it's like I thought there was going to be a point where we were going to have to wait longer and longer to get this cash, and they did at the right time too. To where it's like for a while before she cashed in, people were behind her and cheering every time she grabbed that briefcase. The crowd went wild.
Oh yeah.
To be like, yeah, we got to do this now. They did it at the right time. And like you mentioned, they did do it on the SmackDown to where, at least as of recent, every single cash-in has been on a pay-per-view, a PLE.
Yeah.
So to do it on a SmackDown probably meant a lot more. And was an unexpected moment because I remember thinking, I'm like, oh shoot, they're doing it now on a SmackDown and not waiting till the Rumble or Mania. That's the whole point of Money in the Bank. It's supposed to be the unexpected. You got to expect the unexpected.
Yeah. It was just perfect.
Exactly. It was perfect timing. Great way to get the title off of Nia into this picture. So Tiffany had a great cash in. I loved EO's. It was just didn't like the fact that they had to do like Bianca had to win it in order for EO to cash in the same night. I'm never really a big fan of that of transitional champions like that, but Tiffany had a good one. She generally had a great unexpected cash-ins, which it should happen. I like that. So yeah, I have to go with Tiffany. Joelle, who do you have, Tiffany or Io?
It's Tiffy time, homie.
Exactly. Tiffy
Come on,
time.
it was one of those moments, especially
And
that it was the
Yeah.
week of Netflix, and everybody was like, "Oh, it's gotta happen either at the Netflix premiere show or Rumble. Like that's the top two places." So for it to happen on SmackDown out of nowhere, and also the way it happened and the way they planned it out, and it wasn't like, "Oh, just ran in after the match." It was kind of like during the match and kind of played a part to how the match turned out. I think was awesome. So yeah, you gotta go with Tiffany.
Yeah, clean sweep right there.
Yeah,
But shout out to Io though. It was just not. I didn't hate the moment. It was just like it was
Tiffany's was
weird.
better.
Yeah,
yeah,
Yeah.
it's the
yeah,
easy
It's
one.
not that it was a bad moment.
exactly.
It was just Tiffany's
I
it
think
was
it's just
Tiffy time. Like
she's
Yeah,
better.
it seemed like what my fake
couldn't
watch is
stop
always.
it.
She's
Yeah,
actually better.
yeah,
Couldn't stop it.
exactly. But yeah, it's always gonna be Tiffy time. My clock says
Mhm.
Tiffy time over there. I don't know.
Oh
Yeah. But yeah, next matchup we do have Randy Orton from 2013 going up against Dolph Ziggler from 2013 as well. No, sorry, Randy Orton was 2014. My bad. My bad. 2014 from Dolph Ziggler in 2013. Joel, we're gonna start out with you. Which one did you think was better and why?
Dolph Ziggler, 1,000%. Dolph Ziggler, 1,000%, guys.
A thousand percent? Was it a thousand
Just
percent?
a moment, man. A
Yeah.
1,000%. Just a moment was amazing. And I was actually at WrestleMania 29 the night before, and
Oh,
everybody was chanting for the cash in at the end of the title match. Everybody wanted Ziggler to cash in. So for him to have that moment on the next night on Raw and the place to react the way they did kind of was
Yeah.
like, it should have been the moment where Ziggler became a star. It didn't, but it should have been. It should have been one of those moments that we talk about and like kind of how we talk about the Rollins. The whole start of the Rollins era starts with the Money in the Bank.
Yeah.
That's how we should have been talking about Ziggler. Didn't work out that way, but I still think Ziggler has one of the greatest cash-ins. Because also then Alberto kind of fought back and kind of almost won. So
Yeah.
it was also like one of those things. I was like, no way you're gonna do this and take it away from him. So I think that also played a part in that moment. So I gotta go with Ziggler, one of my favorites.
I know it was good. Elle, what do you have? Because it's also right before you started watching Elle, right?
Yeah.
yes.
Did you go back and watch this one? Or did your fiance tell you about this one?
So
Be like,
he told me a
yeah.
little bit about it, but he did show it to me. Like
Okay,
Okay.
okay,
he's shown this to me because he is a Dolph Ziggler fan. So
yeah,
he
he
was there.
knows,
The
Like
he
he,
knows,
man knows his stuff.
yeah,
he does. Y'all would have a time with him.
See?
yeah. We got to bring him on, man. We
That's
got to
what
bring
I'm
him.
saying.
He's a future episode, of course.
Yeah,
And I'm going Ziggler all the way. I think I don't know too much about him, but what I've seen and what he's shown me, this is the easy one. I mean, just like Joel, you said, it truly is like history, low key. Like and also the fact that it was almost like he didn't win. Like there was
Yeah.
like that edge of, you're on the edge of your seat. You just love a match like that. You love a cash in like that, where it's like, not everybody's gonna win the cash in. Like it's not like, oh, they're cashing in, they're gonna win,
yeah.
So
It's
I
not
love that.
definite.
No, it's not. So yeah, Ziggler all the way.
For sure. I'm gonna take the broom out and make it a clean sweep as well.
Oof.
And do it Dolph Ziggler because again the pop was insane. I know people were wanting to happen at Mania, which honestly it should have now that I think about it, because that world title match at that year's WrestleMania, it was Alberto Del Rio versus Jack Swagger.
Yes.
Those two people you do not want to see in a Mania match at all against each other.
That's why it made so much
yeah.
sense. I was like, it has to happen at
Yeah.
Mania. Like,
Yeah,
there's
it's
no
like
shot it happens anywhere else.
who would you compare that match to in today's world? Like what type of how would you compare that, Joel?
What,
Like,
Alberto Del Rio
yeah,
versus
Jack Swagger.
Jack Swagger? You have, oh man, let me think. You have Carlito right now taking on,
like Logan Paul.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's actually a good one.
It's like that. Like, why did we get this? I don't know. No one wants to see this.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's
I have no interest in that match.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly
So that's how
it
that
went.
match was, and was like on Mania. So everybody's first
Yeah.
thought was it has to happen there.
Yeah.
But to be honest, it should have happened, but thank goodness it happened that Raw because the pop would have not, because since it was an outdoor arena, it would have not sounded the same than it did in
Oh,
that
Yeah.
arena.
yeah.
The only thing that I didn't like about Dolph Ziggler's reign was the fact that he held it for like a little over 2 months, which was insane to have that type of momentum, that steam, that type of reaction, and the cash in to hold it for that long. Like, come on, that could have been like his best career title and the title that he's had, but it was like, really, like that's all you're gonna have him hold it for?
You're preaching to the choir, bro.
Yeah.
You know what?
Yeah.
Let's get off this topic before we get
Yeah,
mad about
I'll switch over. But yeah,
Oh,
but
man.
yeah,
Shout out Ziggler, man.
Randy Orton's was cool though. I'll give
Oh,
Randy
great.
Orton his
Yeah.
props.
Yeah, it was great. Yeah.
It was I don't was this right before on the time you started L, but it was Randy Orton. Triple H turned on Daniel Bryan to help Orton win it and cash in right after. Genius move. I hated that when it happened, which was obviously the point.
Yeah.
But man, if Randy Orton was going up against somebody else, I would have chosen Orton. But Dolph Ziggler's was insane, man. That pop and that reaction. There's no other reaction you could have gotten out of a cash in than that one. That was the cash in.
And he was the heel. We forget Dolph Ziggler was a heel when that happened.
Yeah.
How did he get that reaction?
That's awesome.
Oh my goodness.
That shows that people didn't want to see that match. The real was swagger. So,
but also he was over. People loved him. That was also when he was with AJ Lee at that time.
yes.
So people loved him. Yeah.
It was him. It was him. AJ Lee and Big E.
And Big E. What a group.
Okay.
What a random group. Now
Yeah,
that I
that's
think
like
about
really
it.
throwing.
Yeah. That's how Big E got called up. They just paired him with AJ Lee and Dolph Ziggler.
Yeah, he was like the muscle. He was like the muscle to Ziggler's
ahead,
Money in the Bank.
Yeah, kind of like Solo Sikoa with the bloodline like that. It was like the enforcer, the muscle of the group. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
So it's kind of like that.
Nice comparison, Nick.
I know.
You're killing it today.
I know, right? I don't know. We just recorded a podcast like an hour before this, so we're fresh off talking about Mania.
Yeah.
But yeah, Ziggler had a great cash in, man. It had to be Ziggler. Next matchup, we had CM Punk, his first cash in from 2008, going against Braun Strowman's from 2018. I'm gonna go with CM Punk because I felt like with Punk's, this led to ultimately his first real title, obviously other than the ECW one, because I think that was WWE's ECW that he won it in. But we didn't know who he was cashing in on because he was still relatively new. Joel, you probably know this answer to me because I started watching wrestling this year, that year 2008. Was it like he was still an ECW star when he won the briefcase, or was it like
he was on Raw? He was on Raw.
He
was like he was back and forth.
That was
mostly a Raw superstar by then.
Okay, because I think ECW died out like 2 years after this, so it was like near the tail end.
I mean, ECW should never even came back, but that's a whole different topic.
Yeah,
but yeah, he was by this time he was already, I'll say it, in the main roster.
Okay. So I was just making sure because I didn't know if it was like an ECW person cashing in on Raw, but it was still unexpected, which is, like I said before, it's what it should be. It was also right after Mania season. Even though he won it back-to-back years and kind of really didn't stay in the world title scene after that, it was still anything on this list is better than Strowman's. I'll say that.
Yeah.
To keep it short, Strowman's was awful. This was like it was like he announced it, then also something that ruined by Brock, which is that match at Hell in a Cell. So I just have to keep it short and sweet. Punk's any day of the week over Strowman, to be honest with you. So yeah, I don't know. It was just also during the time when Strowman was like a monster, which he should have won, right?
He was a monster, but not really. Like you remember, he would come out, try cash in, and then Brock would always just like throw his briefcase away. Like it was just bad. It was like, yo, he's a monster, but you're not treating him like one. Like.
And then I don't know, Hell in a Cell no DQ match ended in a double disqualification.
Yes.
That was also terrible. Like it doesn't make any sense.
Oh man, you're really making a case right now.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie.
Were you gonna choose Braun Strowman? Was that your pick? Who was your pick?
No.
Sorry. Okay.
Hell no. I was gonna pick CM Punk, and I'm not even a big fan of CM Punk's cash in, but against Strowman, that has to be one of the best.
Yeah.
Strowman's was bad. Was bad.
Yeah.
It was sad. Elle ended off here, kicked us off in this one. CM Punk or Braun Strowman?
CM Punk.
Okay.
It's easy. That's so easy. There's
Okay.
like enough said. Truly
Yeah.
enough said.
Yeah. Did
Nick
you
made the
did
case very
yeah
well.
Yeah.
the briefcase? I get it.
Ah,
Yeah.
look at you.
Point
Look
number
at
two.
you.
Yeah.
Point
There
number
you
two.
go. There you
Yeah,
go.
there you go. Keeps we're on a roll today. We're on a roll today. But yeah, CM Punk moves on to the next round. Second round so far looking good. I know we passed the halftime point, but like so far round 2 is looking tough.
It's tougher,
Yeah, this is insane. Next matchup we have another matchup of women. We have Asuka's briefcase cash in 2020 versus Alexa Bliss's cash in 2018. Elle, I'm going to start off with you. Which one, in your opinion, was the better cash in and why?
Well, this one's also kind of easy due
Okay.
to how Asuka's went. I'm gonna go Alexa Bliss. I'm a huge Alexa Bliss fan. She is also a big reason I was like really into the whole Wyatt Six stuff, and she also, was involved in all that. So Alexa Bliss is a very easy pick for me, but her cash in was just, I think, was very good. I've only seen a couple clips of it, but compared to Asuka, it's got to be Alexa Bliss.
Oh, of course. Joelle, do you agree with Elle, or are you going to go with Asuka on this one?
Nah, yeah, I'm going with Alexa Bliss. Yeah, especially during the Nia Ronda match. Those are two heavy hitters. You don't just cash in on people like that. So to do that,
and
shout out to Alexa, man. It takes courage. Yeah, it takes courage to do something like that.
Ronda Rousey, who's an actual fighter.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then Nia Jax is just, she's just huge. Like she's just
what a woman.
Yeah. It's not someone to really mess with during that time.
Especially next to Alexa. That's what I'm saying. For her to have the confidence and be like, yo, let's do the cash in tonight. Shout out to her.
Yeah.
Exactly. And technically, she was the first one for the woman to cash in the same night.
Yes, I forgot she was on the same night.
She started the
trend.
The trend, right after that. But I'm also going to go with Alexa Bliss. Again, the fact that she cashed in on Ronda and Nia takes, like you said, Joelle, it takes a lot of guts to do. Asuka, I understand why they did it. It was like because Becky Lynch couldn't really compete anymore because that's when she got pregnant. So understandable. Maybe they had different plans before that. It seemed like Asuka didn't know that was going to happen. She was just there, like so she.
Oh my god.
No, it's not her fault. It's not her fault. Maybe they had a plan.
It's not her fault. I mean, you could have just had Becky lose
or something else.
I mean,
exactly.
You knew she was pregnant. You
she
let
wrestled when she was pregnant.
You let her win, and then she gave it up. The next night?
Yeah. The next night.
Well, you could have just let Shayna win.
There's genuinely they could have done way better with that.
Yeah.
That year, that was also early pandemic year. So that whole year was just, what are we watching here?
Yeah, so it's already super kind of almost cringe,
Exactly. Yeah.
Hard to watch, and then that's the way,
Oof.
So
COVID was a special time.
Yeah.
As a wrestling fan. Oh man.
And we survived, and now we're here 5 years later.
Yeah. We almost survived. we barely survived.
I know. I almost stopped, but we're here.
The tribal chief kept us in there. That's what happened. The tribal chief came around and then was like, you know what? This storyline's kind of not bad.
Yeah. Elle, do you acknowledge? Are you putting a ones up for Roman Reigns or no?
Vibes,
we
know.
Yeah.
Knows.
Yeah. Exactly. So yeah, Alexa Bliss does move on to the next round there.
Yep.
Another clean sweep. Then we have the last round, the last matchup in the first round. We have Drew McIntyre from last year's 2-second cash-in versus Seth Rollins' 2015 L's favorite. Joel, I'm going to start with you though. Who do you think was the better cash-in, even though it might be obvious?
I mean, it's Rollins. Are we gonna really go through this and have this convo? It's Rollins.
It depends. Elle, do you agree?
What do you think? It's Rollins.
Yes.
So I don't even need to say anything.
Yeah, me neither. I'm not going to say anything either. I think it's pretty obvious here.
Yeah.
Seth Rollins takes the clean sweep there. But then now we're on to the next round. This is where it might get a little tough. FYI for Elle, it might get a little tough here, but let's get into it anyways. We have Liv Morgan from 2022 versus Dean Ambrose from 2016. I'll kick this one off. I'm going to go with Dean Ambrose here. Again, I'm going to pretty much bounce off what I said in the first round with the whole Shield moment of them at least holding the titles for that same night. Even though I also did say that I wasn't a fan of people holding the championship to be a traditional champion for cash-ins, it's still cool to look back on to be like, yeah, that was cool. They all held it the same night. And it kicked off the era of the brand split. SmackDown was the land of opportunity that Shane and Daniel Bryan ran, and Ambrose was the face of that. The only thing that left a sour taste in my mouth with Liv was, again, the whole feud after that with Ronda. Again, not her fault. Not blaming her on that, but it wasn't booked as properly as it should have been. So I'm going to go with Dean Ambrose there. Elle, who do you have, Liv Morgan or Dean Ambrose?
I'm going to go Ambrose. I have to go Ambrose on this one. Just compared, two good cash-ins, but one is just really, hovering over the other one better. Like you said, just the whole Shield and them holding it all at the same time. So it's an easy pick. It's got to be Ambrose. That was a big moment for him.
Quick question, little off topic. How would you rank the Shield? Is it Rollins first, then who else? Rollins, who, and who?
So I'm going to go... God, that's a good question.
Yeah, I don't mean to put you on the spot.
It sucks because, I love Dean Ambrose. I love him. And I love Roman Reigns. It really sucks. But I'm going to do Seth. And then I'm going to put Dean and Roman.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's a good one. Joelle, I don't think you ever told me that. I don't think we have discussed this. But how would you rank your order?
Like the Shield?
Yeah.
Oof. Now, or can I give you what I thought back then?
Both. Give me both.
Okay, back then I thought it was Roman, Dean, Rollins.
Okay.
Now I would probably put Roman on the bottom. And yeah.
Wait.
Yeah.
I thought you were a big Roman guy.
I am a big Roman guy. But Dean puts on great matches, and so does Rollins. Match comparisons, I gotta go with match comparisons.
That's fair. Yeah.
They're better in the ring than Roman. I love Roman. That's my tribal chief.
Yeah.
Don't get a mistaken, Nick. All right.
Yeah.
But out of the Shield. Yeah.
That is true.
Shout
But you didn't even get your pick. Do you have Liv Morgan or Dean Ambrose here?
Oh, Dean. Yeah. I agree with both what you guys said. There's really nothing much to add. Shout out Liv though. That was a cool one.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Shout out Liv. Also one of the catches where I thought she could have held it a little bit longer to build her up.
Yeah.
But I guess the cash in was just not the best. But yeah, we on to the next matchup. We have Edge's cash in from 2006, technically going up against Tiffany Stratton's from earlier this year. Joelle, I'm gonna start off with you. Which one was your favorite?
Oh, why would you do that?
Because I know what Elle's gonna say, and then that's gonna put.
He's gonna put you in the hot seat because you already know.
Oh, damn!
I gotta go with Edge, baby. I gotta go with Edge.
That was gonna be easy, man. Come on.
The first one, I was confused. Told me I didn't know what happened. This was a shock to me.
Hey, and I respect that.
Yeah. He is just one of those core memories for me. That's why I got put Edge.
Yeah.
I gotta go, my girl Tiffy. I gotta go.
Do you have a watch that only says Tiffy time on it?
I need to get one.
Yeah, that would be so fire.
I think it would.
Because we're running on it's currently 7:27 Tiffany Standard Time.
Hey, that was
good. Yo, we've been potting for too long. Since
Oh God,
that was a good one.
Y'all are gonna leave me on this hanging, just like, oh, I don't want to do this anymore. Yeah. But oh man, now I'm in the hot seat. Why did I ask you first, Joelle? So I hate to do this to Tiffany because I loved her cash, and I genuinely did. I do think that Tiffany's cash-in was one of the best we've seen in the last couple of years. But I'm going to stick with what I said before in the first round. I'm going to stay with Edge. Because I always the first of I'm gonna just continue what I said the first round. The first of everything always sticks out to everybody. So and it's always gonna live in people's heads. Um, so I'm gonna have to stick with Edge. And again, that visual of John Cena's laying out there all bloody and just I don't know. I just look
It's a
all
classic moment.
yeah.
It's a classic moment.
Yeah, I don't know what else to say.
It's a
But
hard
it was
one.
just,
It really is a hard
yeah.
one.
This is a tough one.
Yeah, again, another situation where if it was Tiffany versus somebody else, maybe I would have chosen Tiffany, depending on who it was. But these are all good cash-ins. This is what I'm saying. This round is definitely going to be tougher. So yeah, I know you're disappointed, Elle. I'm sorry, but
It's a bit.
she's not going to want to
I'll get
partake
over it.
anymore.
It's no longer
Yeah.
now.
But yeah, next matchup we have is Dolph Ziggler versus CM Punk from 2008, his first one. We're gonna start off with L. This one. Which one do you choose and why?
I'm gonna do Ziggler because I mean, like we said in the first round, it's just the pop, the everything. There is nothing quite like that, and God to be there would be amazing. Like oh my gosh, to witness that one live would be sick.
Yeah.
Question though. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but
No,
if you would have seen Dolph Ziggler's first, would you still be a Seth Rollins person, or was it like? Was it were you are you a Seth Rollins person because of the cash in, or you just like loved him over time and that's what got you into it?
So he really like I don't know. I just kind of was like, watched a bunch of people and then he just really stuck out to me. And I've been a fan since, and he's like my number one out of the men. He's my favorite. Like he just is. And I think it also has to do with the cash in and it has to do with the Shield. And I know he broke it up and he was like number one victim, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I just have a special place in my heart for him. I don't know. I just like him. And I think also because he is the reason that I got into the WWE that I can't betray him. So, but that's a good question because I do like a lot of Dolph Ziggler stuff.
Ask your fiance. He'll probably give you like a presentation on Dolph
Oh,
Ziggler.
he would.
Yeah.
He would.
Yeah.
He would type it up and be like, well, you're wrong, and this is why.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, I'm gonna go Seth. So.
Okay. But Dolph Ziggler gets a point from El Joel. Do you agree, Dolph Ziggler or CM Punk from 2008?
Ziggler.
Ooh, okay.
I feel like we talked about it all in the first round. I mean, it's just one of those moments.
Yeah, I mean, I want to go with Ziggler too. I wish I was. I think this was during the point where I stopped for a bit.
Okay.
But I remember it being. All I knew was that Mania was in Jersey that year, so I was like, okay, what is it? I know that's happening, but I didn't know who was doing what.
But wait, so real quick, what years did you stop watching?
End of 2012. It was the last thing I remembered watching. It was like right after the Shield debuted.
Okay, gotcha.
That was the last thing I remembered. That I was like, oh, this happened, and then I just stopped. Not because of the Shield.
Not because
it was
of
just
the Shield. That was just a lot.
Yeah, that year was
Ryback was a top guy, man.
Yeah. Thankfully, you started watching later, Elle, because 2012. We could do a whole episode of how bad that year was.
I've heard. Trust me, I've heard.
Yeah.
Oh man, I've been through so many shit years of wrestling.
Yeah.
Oh man, I'm so happy that right now it's killing it.
Dedicated
fan. 1,000%.
Yeah.
I can't lie. I did leave for a little bit as well, but got back right before the Shield.
Yeah.
Yeah. The reason why I stopped too is because I thought, not just because it was bad, it's because I thought like maybe I was getting old for it, because that was like when I started high school.
Oh yeah.
So I was like, oh, I'm definitely getting old for this. But then I got into it out of curiosity. Then, yeah. But I think it was 2014.
Then it just started building up again.
Yeah. It's like you can't escape the fandom.
They'll never. Yeah, I was gonna say it'll never leave you. Once it's in your blood, that's it.
No, for real.
You can leave it for a couple years and come right back.
Yeah.
It's literally consumed me. It's all I think about. Like,
and now it's getting bigger than ever. So
it is.
If you try to get away from it, you'll see something anywhere. It'll be like, oh, it's wrestling related.
Yeah.
So it's wrestling's everywhere.
Damn, what a time, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm gonna stay with Dolph Ziggler. I wish I was actually watching weekly at the time, because I would have loved this to watch it live. When it happened. Again, even though CM Punk's was the first cash-in that I remember seeing, So that was like my introduction to Money in the Bank. Was that year. But again, it was weird that he won it this year, then won it again the following year in 2009.
Yeah.
Like, how are you gonna have back-to-back Money in the Banks?
Yeah.
If you look back at it, it's like, what if like it's kind of weird to do that? You would think that if they win it once, it's like, oh, maybe we should keep them in the world title picture at least for a bit during that
Yeah.
time. You know what I mean? Like, what
I
if
think
you
I
know?
think they just like tried it out with him for the first time, and it didn't really. It was
Stick.
okay, and then they
Yeah,
were like, okay,
'cause
you know what? Let's try again. We might be able to execute this better.
they were giving him heavy hitters though. You know, well, I don't remember that roster. It was Batista, Jericho, Kane, all big, like not physically big people, but big names. Are like, why are you
Taker,
giving?
yeah.
Yeah, so it was rough.
Jeff was still around at that time.
Yeah. I loved it.
Yeah,
It was-
but if it was a 2009 Money in the Bank, I would have given CM Punk because that led to the CM Punk versus Jeff
Yeah.
Hardy rivalry,
Ugh.
which was
God.
again, ask your fiance Elle, but that one he'll probably give you a whole history lesson of Jeff Hardy versus
He's,
Punk.
Jeff Hardy's his favorite.
Oh, yeah.
You
Yeah.
know what's
What a man! What a man!
Yeah.
What a guy. I was gonna
Yeah.
say, you know what's funny that you bring that up? That rivalry made me stop watching WWE.
What?
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
When Jeff Hardy lost the
Oh,
steel
okay,
cage
yeah.
match and they said, yo, he's out of here, I said, cool, peace.
I
So am I.
understandable.
So,
Understandable.
and then that's when
Understandable.
I really like got into like just watching TNA like more heavier than WWE. I was still like checking in on it, but like
Yeah.
that was the
Makes
that was
sense.
the time area that I was just like,
That's
you know
fair.
what? I'm out. If Jeff's out, I'm out.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like that thing is like if Cena's heel, I'm heel. I'm
Exactly.
also heel.
Yeah,
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 You know
yeah.
the vibes. You see, you know the
Yeah.
vibes.
Yeah, but damn, really, you can't believe that Jeff Hardy made you stop watching. It's crazy.
Yeah, Jeff.
The impact
Jeff
he
Hardy's
had that
my
year,
guy,
man.
man. What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It was like, you gonna take the belt off this guy? Bad decision. I'm stop watching.
You
Yeah,
just lost a fan.
Yeah, it lost
exactly.
me.
One less
man.
viewer.
Yeah.
Oh man,
Because
but
I
Dolph
made a
Ziggler.
difference.
Yeah, I think, you know what? I'm gonna
In my
stop
mind,
watching.
I did back then. I was like, you know what?
Right.
They gonna change their mind because I'm stop watching.
Yeah. Oh, hopefully you listen to me. Now you have a podcast. Now you can talk about it and they can
Yeah,
watch
now I
it.
just
Yeah.
saw
Yeah,
shit.
there you go.
Exactly.
But yeah, Dolph Ziggler moves on to the next round. Last matchup in this second round, we have Alexa Bliss from 2018 versus Seth Rollins from 2015. I think this is also an obvious one. Do we all have to go into it, or does anyone
Nah,
want to
you're
say?
good. You're good. You can
We
just
don't
put
even
the
need to
three.
get into it. Yeah.
I'll put a
You
three.
just put the
Okay.
three. You could just put the three right there.
Okay.
man.
Cool. I don't know how much longer we're gonna keep doing this with Seth, but we'll see. We have the talk for Seth. Cool.
This one we're gonna have to have a conversation with because now I see
Ooh.
both, and it's like, oh
which,
man.
which one do we want to start with first? These final four matchups are kind of
Let's
difficult.
let Elle decide.
Yeah, Elle, you pick which one you
Who
want to
you
start
wanna
with
start
first.
with?
Let's do Ambrose and Edge.
Ambrose and Edge. Okay, cool. Do you want to give your answer to Elle first too? Which one you want to choose, or do
Sure.
you?
Let's do it. Gosh, it's crazy because y'all have really made a case for Edge, and it's been stuck in my mind. But I also love Ambrose, and
Yeah.
this is a hard one. But
This is why we have these conversations because they make influence.
it does. It's making
Yeah.
me think. I'm gonna have to go watch his cash in now. Edge's
Yeah.
cash in.
Oh, you need to. You need to.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go Edge. I'm gonna go Edge.
Ooh,
Did we influence somebody, Joel? Did we?
I think you guys
Succeed?
did
we might have. We might
Yeah.
have.
Okay.
Oh man.
for sure. It just I don't even need to say anymore. Just
Yeah, I get it.
you have two really, really great, cash-ins, but
Yeah.
I don't know. Y'all persuaded me. The more I'm
Um,
looking at it, the more I'm like, yeah, that sounds really big. And I've watched some of it, but I haven't like really sat down and paid attention and realized.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm gonna go Edge.
Yeah. I mean, I wasn't a fan at that time too of Edge. I'm still gonna. Joel, you go first. 'Cause I can't really choose at the moment. I
You
can't
want me
really.
to go first?
Yeah.
Okay. Edge.
Okay.
I'm giving it to
Yeah.
Edge. Also, at the time, Cena being the ultimate babyface, he was the biggest babyface in the company at the time, and Edge had just come off the storyline with Matt and with Lita and cheating with them, so like
Rated
he
R
was the
64.
biggest heel.
Yeah.
So because of that, it was like out of all guys,
Yeah.
this is the guy winning the belt, and it was just one of those moments. I was like, you either loved it or you hated it. Now, back then, I hated it. I was
Yeah.
not a fan. I was like Cena all the way. now I look back and I could acknowledge like it was such a great moment, and it had a reaction on me. You know what I mean? Like it
Yeah.
probably hit a couple people
Yeah.
like that were like, "What the fuck?" Like,
Yeah.
so yeah, I gotta go with Edge. Ambrose,
Yeah.
of course, we talked it up this whole episode. Great moment, but again, they were all like at the time. I think Roman was the big baby face, Rollins was like the big heel, and then Ambrose was just in the middle. So it was just like a shock factor. But I think just Edge had more of a moment to it than the Ambrose one.
Makes sense. Yeah. I mean, Edge already won this round anyways, but I'll just give the
Give it the one. Give it the
Yeah.
one. So it
should I
doesn't
say
have
the
a
pun?
zero.
Should I say the pun?
Go
Or
ahead.
should I?
Go ahead.
I want to give the edge to Dean Ambrose.
This
Yeah.
guy.
Hey, there you go.
See, yeah,
I hate you.
we're gonna see Joel log off immediately.
Oh,
But
really?
no, it's I mean, history lesson. I mean, wait, you said this was right after the Matt Hardy beef? Because I don't know if you knew Elle, but Matt Hardy and Edge had real beef. It was real beef, right? Like legit
Yes.
hatred.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
been-
figured
Yeah.
that her fiance put her onto that because that's
Okay,
that's a big story, right?
Oh
there.
yeah, he did. I mean, my fiance loves Edge. Like he was like, that's the rated R superstar.
That's the
like
guy
that
right
is
there. Yeah.
he's the guy, and so he's
Yeah.
a big So I'm all filled in on that one.
Ooh. We should have him on and come in real quick. Be like, yo, but choose me. Like,
yeah.
yeah. Choose one. Just pick one.
Yeah.
But yeah. I mean, both of these were good in its own right. It was
Yeah.
just, again, I would have chosen Edge, but I liked Ambrose's better, where it was just, the whole Shield moment and the fact, even this is 2 years after the breakup, they all went their separate ways and had their moments and became big single stars, and the fact that they were all world champions in one night, you don't hear that often with certain people. So, yeah,
When a whole group is successful, that don't happen
exactly.
a lot.
It's like we all eat. You know what I mean?
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Yeah, it's literally the whole thing. But yeah, Edge makes it to the final round. I mean, that was pretty expected from the beginning to me, but didn't want to see Ambrose get swept out like
I
that.
feel you on that.
But then we had the second semifinal match. We have Dolph Ziggler from 2013 going up against Seth Rollins from 2015. Who wants to go first? Because this is also very up in the air to me.
I'm gonna kick it off. I'm gonna kick it off. And then Elle could go because I'm gonna go with Ziggler on this.
Ooh.
I'm gonna go
now
with
I
the
hate you
Ziggler
back,
moment on this. Rollins was great. It was a great moment. Awesome. It happened at Mania. I don't know. I just have this tie to the Ziggler one. That's just like it was one of those moments. I was also a big Ziggler guy, and seeing that moment was like finally they're acknowledging this guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta go with Ziggler.
Ooh, good pick. Elle, just do it to me. I give your answer. Good.
I gotta go Rollins. I gotta do it. And truly, that's my guy.
Yeah, that's your introduction to WWE. I know.
Yep.
It's great moment to get into it though, because this was the first Mania cash-in that there ever was. So it's what a special moment that was.
Yeah. So it's just the easy answer for me. Although Ziggler's, it's very hard because like Ziggler's is awesome. Like it is lit. So but I gotta go Rollins.
Ooh, okay,
now
good
Nick's
picks.
in the hot seat.
Okay, yeah, this is because this is really gonna dictate a lot from the next round.
This does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna make cases for both before I choose. Dolph Ziggler, although like I said before, I wasn't watching WWE at the time. The whole build up to his cash and people loving it. This embodies what Money in the Bank cash-ins should look like. The people enjoying it, the unexpected timing of it, and the fans just getting behind you should be what Money in the Bank cash-ins should be like. So Dolph Ziggler's probably one of the perfect cash-ins there is. On the other hand, you got Seth Rollins, who also embodies what Money in the Banks should be like. The same thing, unexpected cash-ins. Even though he was more of a heel, and I don't think people cheered for it. The only difference with his match was that he cashed in during a match instead of after a match. I think the only person to do that at all. So I think Drew did it last year, right? Drew did it during a match instead of after. Maybe wrong with that.
That I cannot
I feel like it was
back you
during,
up
but
on. I'm not sure,
yeah,
to be
we gotta
honest.
I'm
double
not
check
sure.
later.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, but I think if anything, Rollins did it first. And both these were good, but if I'm going to have to choose one of these, I think the one that sticks out to me the most has to be the Rollins one. I'm going to choose Rollins because I think it's called the heist of the century for a reason. People talk about this till this day. People talk about Ziggler's too. Don't get me wrong, but it's just Rollins had a bigger stage, bigger moment, and his career took off right from there. If only they did the same thing with Ziggler, not necessarily his fault, but if they did the same thing, he probably would be a lot bigger position right now. But it's got to go with Rollins. Rollins, I think, had a better surprise element to it.
Yeah.
So that I'm gonna have to go with Rollins, man. I hate to see Ziggler go, but
To be honest, I'm surprised you gave it so much thought. I kind of needed Ziggler not to go down with a 0. I thought you were going straight with Rollins. And I was like, I can't let Ziggler get swept.
It was tough though, because these two were good.
Those two are probably like
top two
of the most memorable ones.
Yeah.
If Dolph Ziggler was on the other side, I probably would have chosen. Let me ask you this, guys: if Ziggler was against Edge and Ambrose was against Rollins, would you have chosen anything different, or was it still the same answers? Do you still see the finals the same way, or no? Because we never really discussed this during a bracket episode until now. But what do you think we did?
I don't know. I felt like it would have been the same for me.
Yeah, I don't think I would have changed
anything. Okay.
No. Yeah, I probably would have stuck to my gut on all of them.
Okay. I was curious because we never really see what it was like on the other end. So now we're in the final round. We have Edge's first cash from 2005 or 6, going against Rollins from 2015. I'm going to do this only because Joelle did this to me last round. I'm going to start first, then Elle, then Joelle, you're last. Okay. So I'm going to start off by choosing.
Worst.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I'm going to start off by choosing. Actually, no. Elle, you go first. I'm going to let you go first with this one.
Okay.
Ladies is first. All right.
Ladies first. I'm sorry. My bad.
Actually, on the final round.
Yeah. I'm sorry, Elle.
You're fine. All right. I'm going to go Seth Rollins. Heist of the century.
Yeah.
There's just, we've talked about it this whole time. This whole thing, it's still talked about. It is one of the most talked about. He just talked about it in one of the promos, I think, 2 Monday Night Raws ago or whatever. There's a reason this is history. This will be talked about for a long, long time. And it's kind of, big thing what he's known for, minus the Shield heel turn. So, Seth Rollins all the way.
Good pick. Mm-hmm. I'm going to put Joel on the hot seat. I'm going to choose Edge because I feel like, again, both these were good, but even though Rollins, in my opinion, is the greatest one, you can't go wrong with the first one because the first one, as much as the best one, always sticks out and talked about the most. I see that photo of Edge everywhere, of him just handing the briefcase to Vince, and either the bloody face of Cena after that gruesome Elimination Chamber match. Again, it's those two. Even though there's a lot of firsts in wrestling that don't really get talked about it much for reasons, but this one will always get talked about because it was just a memorable one. So I'm just gonna choose Edge with this one. Joelle, who do you have?
Oh man,
did you get? You put me in the hot seat the last round.
I'm in the hot seat,
big time.
But on this day, I see clearly. It's Edge, baby. Edge is the greatest cash-in of all time. Rollins, definitely up there. I would put Rollins number 2. The only reason I have Edge at number 1, personal reasons, but also I think it was such an iconic moment. Like I said, the biggest heel in the company, taking down the biggest babyface to kick off the year. The pay-per-view was January 2nd or something like that? Kicked off the year and kind of showed you where they were going towards with the Edge character. It took some time to get there after getting the title and doing a couple more things, but he finally got there. Rollins, we kind of knew the rocket was on his back. It was just when was it gonna happen? It was amazing that it happened at Mania. I popped when it happened. I think more because we didn't want to see Roman as champion, but
Yeah.
also because we loved Rollins.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just gotta give I gotta give it to Edge more for like the core memory, but also like the history of it and being the first and how iconic it was.
Okay.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
This was a tough ass
Yeah.
bracket, man.
This
Yeah.
was.
Oh my god.
Made it official here between us three. Edge from 2006 was the greatest Money in the Bank cash-in of all time.
Wow.
Elle, I want to thank you for doing this with us, coming up with the topic.
Yes.
Before we send it off, where can people find you on social media and follow you on all platforms?
So I'm on Instagram and TikTok. Everything is at ELLE Matkins, MATKINS. I post daily on my TikTok mainly. Gonna be probably creating a Instagram profile for my wrestling content, and future podcast is in the works. So yeah,
Okay.
exciting stuff happening. So yeah, y'all can follow me on Instagram and TikTok.
Of course. We'll definitely leave all your socials in the description of this YouTube video so people can go subscribe there and follow there. Again, we really appreciate you. Thank you very much for
thank you.
I had
This
a
was
great
such a fun
time.
topic. This
No,
was
it was
great
awesome.
topic.
This was great. I had a
great
great time.
discussions. Yeah.
No, for real. Like
Yeah.
y'all made me go think. I'm gonna go watch that Edge match now.
Yeah. Your fiance is gonna walk in like, you watching Edge? Yeah. These guys put me onto it. I don't know.
Like, y'all were right.
Yeah. For sure. But thank you. We appreciate it again.
Yes.
I'm Nick, Joel at season 3, episode 4, and we'll see you guys next time.
We'll catch ya.